Your mind is the steering wheel of your life. Every thought you think sets a direction. Every idea you entertain plants a seed, and every belief you hold becomes a blueprint for the reality you experience. If you want a better life, you must start by giving your mind better material to work with. The truth is, most people spend more time thinking about their next meal than their next idea. They feed their bodies 3 times a day, but starve their minds for weeks, months, even years. A neglected mind doesn't just remain empty, it begins to fill itself with weeds, doubt, fear, limitations, and excuses. You have to treat your mind as your most valuable possession. Guard it against trash, nonsense, and negativity. The conversations you allow, the news you consume, the entertainment you watch, all of it is feeding something in you. The question is it feeding strength or feeding weakness? If you want to grow, you need to deliberately feed your mind with thoughts that stretch it beyond its current limits. Read books that make you think. Listen to ideas that challenge your assumptions. Surround yourself with people who talk about possibilities instead of problems. Feeding your mind is not just about information, it's about transformation. It's not enough to memorize quotes or collect facts. You need ideas that change the way you see the world and, more importantly, the way you see yourself. A powerful idea can act like a key. It can unlock a part of you that was locked away by doubt or past failures. One new way of thinking can open doors to opportunities you never knew were there. But you'll never find those doors if you don't keep searching for new ideas. Most people wait for inspiration to arrive like a lightning bolt. But inspiration is not something you wait for. It's something you prepare for. You prepare for it by reading a little every day, by keeping a journal of your thoughts, by asking questions and seeking answers. You prepare for it by turning off the noise that clutters your thinking and giving yourself quiet moments to reflect. Some of the best ideas won't come while you're sitting in front of a screen. They'll come when you're walking alone, driving in silence, or simply letting your mind wander without distraction. The mind works like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. But unlike a muscle, your mind doesn't get tired from use. It gets sharper. Every time you solve a problem, wrestle with a new concept, or connect 2 ideas in a fresh way, you're building mental strength. And just like physical training, the results compound over time. A single day of learning might not change much, but a year of daily learning can make you unrecognizable from the person you were before. Another important part of feeding your mind is choosing the right mental diet. You wouldn't eat spoiled food and expect good health. In the same way, you can't fill your mind with gossip, fear, and endless complaints and expect a strong, optimistic outlook. Be intentional about what you read, watch, and listen to. It's better to read one great book slowly and absorb its lessons than to skim through 100 meaningless ones. It's better to have one deep conversation with a wise person than 1,000 shallow exchanges with people who have nothing to offer but negativity. Don't underestimate the influence of your environment on your mind. The people you spend the most time with will shape your thinking, often without you even realizing it. If you're surrounded by those who constantly doubt, criticize, and complain, you'll eventually begin to think the same way. But if you place yourself among people who dream big, act boldly, and talk about growth, their thinking will start to rub off on you. Make it a habit to learn from people who are ahead of you, and don't be afraid to outgrow environments that no longer challenge you. Finally, understand that feeding your mind is not a one-time event. It's a lifelong practice. Just as your body needs daily nourishment, your mind needs daily input of ideas, wisdom, and perspective. If you miss a meal, your body feels it. If you miss feeding your mind for too long, your results will show it. The world is moving fast, and ideas are the currency of progress. The better your ideas, the better your decisions. The better your decisions, the better your life. So every day, give your mind something worth thinking about. Treat it with care, respect, and discipline. Because once your mind expands to a higher level of thinking, it never goes back to its old size, and that is the beginning of real, lasting change. Character is the foundation on which everything else in life is built. Skills, talents, and opportunities can get you in the door, but only character can keep you there. It is the invisible force that shapes how others see you, trust you, and choose to work with you. Without strong character, success is temporary and relationships are fragile. With it, you can withstand storms, earn lasting respect, and build a reputation that follows you everywhere you go. Character is not something you are born with. It is something you build one choice at a time. Every decision you make, especially the small ones, shapes who you are becoming. The easy decisions do not test your character, the hard ones do. When it's inconvenient to keep your word, when no one is watching, when doing the right thing costs you something. That's when character is forged. It's in those moments that you decide whether you're the kind of person who stands by your principles or the kind who bends them for temporary gain. Keeping promises is one of the most important habits of a person with strong character. Promises are not just words, they are commitments. When you tell someone you will do something, you are making a deposit into the bank of trust. If you follow through, you strengthen that trust. If you fail without good reason, you withdraw from it. Over time, people will judge you not by what you say, but by whether you can be counted on to do what you say. This is why reliability is rare and valuable. Honesty is another pillar of character. Being honest is not just about telling the truth when it's easy, it's about telling the truth when a lie would protect you, when hiding the facts would make you look better, or when admitting a mistake would bruise your ego. Dishonesty might win you temporary advantage, but it always carries a long-term cost. Trust, once broken, is almost impossible to rebuild. People would rather work with someone whose abilities are average, but whose integrity is solid than with someone brilliant but dishonest. Character also shows up in how you treat people who can do nothing for you. It's easy to be polite to your boss or kind to someone who can help you. But how do you treat the waiter, the cleaner, the person who disagrees with you, or the stranger you'll never see again? Your answer to that question says more about your true character than anything you put on display in front of important people. Resisting the temptation to take shortcuts is another sign of strong character. Shortcuts often look appealing because they promise faster results with less effort, but they usually come with hidden costs, compromising your values, lowering your standards, or cutting corners in ways that weaken the quality of your work. People with strong character understand that the long road, though harder, builds endurance, reputation, and pride in what they've accomplished. Character is also about taking responsibility. It's about owning your mistakes instead of making excuses or blaming others. When you make a mistake, admit it quickly, learn from it, and move forward. People respect someone who can acknowledge when they're wrong far more than someone who insists on always being right. Responsibility is rare because it requires humility, but it earns respect faster than almost anything else. The strength of your character is often revealed in moments of pressure. Anyone can look composed when things are going well, but when circumstances turn against you, when deadlines pile up, when criticism comes, when failure hits, that's when your true nature shows. Will you panic or stay calm? Will you lash out or lead with patience? Will you give up or push through? Strong character doesn't eliminate struggle, but it gives you the resilience to face it with grace and determination. Building character is not a one-time decision, it's a daily practice. You build it through repeated actions, and you maintain it by staying true to your principles, even when it's inconvenient. The reward for living with strong character is not just external success. It's the internal peace of knowing you didn't compromise who you are to get where you are. In the end, talent may attract attention, charm may win friends, and luck may open doors. But only character will determine how far you go and how long you stay there. When people trust you, when your word is as good as gold, when you stand firm in your values, you become someone others can depend on. And in a world full of uncertainty, being that kind of person is not just powerful, it's priceless. Your health is the foundation on which everything in life rests. Without it, every dream, every goal, and every plan you have becomes harder to achieve. Energy is the fuel for productivity, creativity, and persistence. When you neglect your health, you limit your potential. No matter how talented or driven you are, you can have the best opportunities in the world, but if you lack the strength to act on them, they will slip away. Your body is the vehicle that carries you through life, and how well it runs depends on how well you maintain it. Taking care of your health is not about chasing perfection or following extreme routines. It's about making consistent, wise choices every day that give your body what it needs to function at its best. Food is one of the most important of those choices. What you put into your body directly affects your energy, mood, and focus. Processed junk and excessive sugar may give you quick bursts of pleasure or energy, but they drain you in the long run. Fuel yourself with real, nutrient-rich foods, fresh fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats. These are the raw materials your body needs to repair itself. Stay strong and keep your mind sharp. Movement is another essential part of health. The human body was designed to move, yet modern life often keeps us sitting for hours at a time. Over time, that stillness takes a toll. Weak muscles, stiff joints, reduced endurance, and slower metabolism. Exercise doesn't have to mean spending hours in a gym. It can be as simple as walking, stretching, swimming, or doing bodyweight exercises at home. The goal is not just to look fit, but to stay functional, agile, and strong enough to handle the demands of life with ease. Rest is just as important as nutrition and movement. Many people treat sleep as optional, sacrificing it for work, entertainment, or other distractions. But sleep is not a luxury. It's a necessity. It's during rest that your body repairs tissues, restores energy, and processes information. Without enough quality sleep, your ability to focus drops, your mood suffers, and your decision-making weakens. Pushing through exhaustion may feel like determination, but over time it becomes self-destruction. Health also extends beyond the physical body. Mental and emotional well-being are deeply connected to how you feel and function. Chronic stress, unprocessed emotions, and constant mental clutter can harm your body just as much as poor diet or inactivity. Make time for activities that relax your mind, reading, meditating, spending time in nature, or engaging in hobbies you enjoy. Reduce the mental noise by limiting unnecessary stressors, whether that's excessive social media, negative people, or overcommitment. One of the biggest challenges in maintaining health is consistency. You can't undo months or years of neglect with a single week of effort. Health is a long-term investment, and its rewards build slowly but steadily. Skipping workouts, eating poorly, or staying up too late may not show immediate consequences, but over time they weaken the very foundation you depend on. The reverse is also true. Small, positive choices made every day add up to a strong, resilient body and mind. Another truth about health is that it is personal. What works for someone else may not be what works for you. Pay attention to how your body responds to different foods, activities, and routines. Listen to the signals it gives you. Fatigue, aches, and low mood are often signs that something in your lifestyle needs adjustment. Don't ignore these messages. They are your body's way of asking for help before problems grow larger. Discipline plays a huge role in staying healthy. There will be days when you don't feel like exercising, when unhealthy food is more tempting, or when staying up late feels easier than going to bed. This is where commitment matters more than motivation. Discipline is doing what you know is best for you even when you don't feel like it. Over time, those disciplined choices become habits, and those habits create lasting health. The truth is, life will demand energy from you every single day. Whether it's to pursue your goals, take care of your loved ones, or simply enjoy the experiences that make life worthwhile, you need a body that can keep up. Your health is not just about adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years. When you feel strong, clear-headed, and energetic, you show up differently in every area of your life. You think better, work better, and live better. Treat your health as your most valuable asset, because without it, everything else is harder. Feed your body well, move it daily, rest it properly, and protect your mental well-being. Do this not just for the way you look, but for the way you live. A healthy body gives you the freedom to fully pursue your dreams, and that freedom is worth every effort you make to protect it. Attitude is the lens through which you see the world, and it shapes the way you interpret every event, every challenge, and every opportunity. Two people can face the same situation and have completely different experiences simply because of the way they choose to look at it. One sees only obstacles, the other sees possibilities. One feels defeated before starting, the other feels motivated to find a way forward. Your attitude is not something that happens to you. It's something you decide moment by moment, day by day. Life will not always be fair. There will be setbacks, disappointments, and situations you cannot control. But while you cannot control everything that happens, you can control how you respond. That choice, your response, is where your power lies. A positive attitude is not about pretending problems don't exist or ignoring difficulties. It's about deciding to face them with courage, resourcefulness, and the belief that you can learn, adapt, and move forward. A negative attitude magnifies problems. It drains your energy, clouds your judgment, and makes challenges seem bigger than they are. Worse, it pushes away the very people and opportunities that could help you. On the other hand, a positive, solution-focused attitude invites possibility. It attracts others to you because people naturally want to be around those who lift them up rather than pull them down. Attitude also affects your resilience. When you believe that every setback carries a lesson, failure becomes a teacher instead of a prison. You stop seeing mistakes as proof you're not capable and start seeing them as part of the process. This shift allows you to keep moving forward when others quit. You begin to see storms as temporary, challenges as growth opportunities, and struggles as the price of building something worthwhile. Choosing a winning attitude starts with how you talk to yourself. The words you use internally shape your perspective more than you realize. If you constantly tell yourself, I can't, I'm not good enough, or things never work out for me, your mind will search for proof to make those statements true. But if you replace those with, I'll find a way, I can learn this, or this challenge will make me stronger, your mind begins to search for solutions and opportunities instead of excuses. Gratitude plays a major role in maintaining the right attitude. It's easy to focus on what's missing, but gratitude trains your mind to notice what's good, even in difficult times. When you start your day by acknowledging the things you're thankful for, you set the tone for how you'll handle whatever comes. Gratitude doesn't erase problems, but it puts them in perspective, reminding you that even in hard times, there is still something worth appreciating. Your environment also influences your attitude. The people you surround yourself with, the content you consume, and the conversations you participate in all leave an imprint on your thinking. Spend enough time with complainers, and you'll find more to complain about. Spend time with problem solvers and optimists, and you'll naturally start to adopt their way of thinking. This is why protecting your mental environment is as important as protecting your physical health. A winning attitude is proactive, not reactive. It doesn't wait for things to get better before feeling hopeful. It chooses hope now. It doesn't need perfect circumstances to act. It acts in spite of uncertainty. This kind of attitude is powerful because it keeps you moving forward, even when the path is unclear. It says, I will give my best effort, and I will adapt as I go, rather than I'll wait until everything is perfect before starting. There will always be moments that test your attitude. Times when quitting feels easier, when frustration tries to take over, when people misunderstand you or situations don't go your way. In those moments, you must remember that your attitude is your responsibility. No one can choose it for you, and no one can take it away unless you allow them to. Over time, your attitude becomes your reputation. People will remember how you handled pressure, how you treated them when you didn't need anything, and how you reacted when things went wrong. If you are the person who remains calm in chaos, hopeful in setbacks, and focused in uncertainty, you will stand out. Ultimately, your attitude is the difference between living life as a victim or as the author of your own story. It determines whether you see life as something happening to you or something you actively shape. The choice is yours every single day. Choose an attitude that serves you, empowers you, and lifts others. Because when your attitude is right, no setback is permanent, no problem is impossible, and no dream is out of reach. Goals give direction to your life. Without them, you drift from one day to the next, reacting to whatever comes rather than creating the future you want. A clear goal is like a map. It shows you where you're going and helps you make better decisions along the way. Without a map, you might move a lot, but movement without direction doesn't guarantee progress. You can be busy and still end up nowhere. Goals turn effort into achievement because they give purpose to your actions. Having goals is not just about ambition, it's about clarity. When you know exactly what you're aiming for, your mind starts to filter opportunities and resources in ways that support your vision. You begin to notice things that align with your goal, and you stop wasting time on things that don't. The person without a goal chases every distraction. The person with a goal focuses energy where it matters most. Writing your goals down is a powerful step that many skip. A goal that only lives in your mind is just a wish. When you write it down, it becomes tangible. You can see it, read it, and remind yourself of it daily. This simple act reinforces your commitment and turns vague intentions into specific targets. It also allows you to track progress and measure how far you've come, which builds momentum and confidence. Reviewing your goals regularly is equally important. Life changes, and so do your circumstances. A goal you set 6 months ago might need adjustment based on new experiences, new opportunities, or lessons learned from setbacks. This doesn't mean you failed. It means you're adapting. Flexibility keeps you from being rigid, but commitment keeps you from abandoning the goal too soon. The balance between those two is key. Big goals can feel overwhelming, and that's where breaking them into smaller, actionable steps comes in. Each small step becomes a mini goal, something you can focus on today without feeling crushed by the weight of the bigger picture. Progress may be slow, but slow progress is still progress. Every step forward builds momentum, and momentum is a powerful force. It makes the next step easier than the last. Goals also require discipline. The excitement of setting a goal is easy. Sticking to it when motivation fades is harder. This is why you need systems and habits to support your goals. If your goal is to get healthier, build the habit of preparing healthy meals or scheduling workouts in advance. If your goal is to grow a business, commit to daily actions that move it forward, even on days when you don't feel inspired. Discipline is the bridge between setting a goal and achieving it. One of the most powerful things about goals is how they shape your identity. When you pursue a goal consistently, you begin to see yourself differently. You're no longer just someone who wants something. You're someone who takes action. This shift in identity strengthens your confidence and makes it harder to quit, because quitting would mean going against who you've become. Goals also help you overcome distractions. When you have something specific you're working toward, it's easier to say no to things that waste your time. You can measure every decision against the question, does this move me closer to my goal? If the answer is no, you can walk away without guilt. Without goals, everything feels equally urgent, and you end up spending energy on things that don't matter. It's important to set goals that challenge you but are still achievable. If they're too easy, you won't grow. If they're impossibly hard, you'll get discouraged. The sweet spot is a goal that requires you to stretch beyond your comfort zone, but still feels within reach if you stay consistent. That stretch is where growth happens. Finally, remember that goals are not just about the end result. They're about the person you become along the way. Achieving a goal changes your circumstances, but working toward it changes you. It builds resilience, patience, focus, and problem-solving skills. Even if you fall short of the exact target, you will have developed qualities that stay with you for life. A life without goals is a life lived by accident. A life with clear, written, reviewed, and pursued goals is a life lived on purpose. When you know where you're going, every step has meaning, every effort has direction, and every day becomes part of a larger vision. That is how you turn your time into progress and your dreams into reality. Discipline is the glue that holds success together. It's the quiet force that keeps you moving toward your goals long after the excitement of starting has faded. Anyone can be motivated for a day or two, maybe even a week, but discipline is what carries you through the weeks, months, and years it takes to achieve something worthwhile. Motivation is a spark, but discipline is the steady flame that keeps burning, even when the weather turns cold and the winds of life blow against you. Discipline means doing what you said you would do, even when you no longer feel like doing it. Feelings are temporary and unreliable. They change based on mood, circumstances, and comfort. Discipline doesn't ask if you feel like it. It simply says, do it anyway. This is why disciplined people get results that others only dream about. They don't wait for the perfect conditions or the right mood. They act, knowing that action itself creates momentum. The essence of discipline is consistency. It's not about extreme bursts of effort followed by long breaks. It's about showing up every day, putting in the work, and trusting that small, consistent actions compound over time. The results may not be visible immediately, but like seeds planted in the soil, the work you do today will bear fruit if you keep tending to it. Discipline also means keeping promises to yourself. It's easy to keep commitments to others because you don't want to let them down, but the real test is whether you can keep commitments when no one is watching. Every time you follow through on something you told yourself you'd do, you build self-respect. Every time you break that promise, you weaken your own trust in yourself. Over time, self-discipline creates confidence because you know you can rely on yourself to act. One of the biggest challenges to discipline is the temptation of short-term comfort over long-term gain. The choice between sleeping in or waking up early to work on your goals, between eating junk food now or staying committed to your health plan, between scrolling on your phone or focusing on the project that matters. These are the daily battles where discipline is won or lost. The disciplined person chooses what they want most over what they want now. Discipline is not about being harsh with yourself or living without joy. It's about creating structures and habits that keep you aligned with your vision, even when distractions and temptations are everywhere. It's about designing your environment to make the right choices easier and the wrong choices harder. If you keep unhealthy snacks out of your house, you won't have to fight the urge to eat them at midnight. If you set your workout clothes out the night before, you remove one more excuse in the morning. Another truth about discipline is that it gets stronger with use. The more you practice it, the easier it becomes to apply it in new areas of life. At first, it may feel like a constant struggle, but over time, it becomes second nature. Just like a muscle, discipline grows through repeated effort, and the results spill over into every part of your life. If you can discipline yourself to stick to a study schedule, you'll find it easier to discipline yourself with money, relationships, and personal habits. It's also important to understand that discipline doesn't mean perfection. There will be days when you slip, when you fall short, when your plan doesn't go as expected. Discipline is not about never failing. It's about getting back on track quickly when you do. The difference between someone who succeeds and someone who quits is not that one never makes mistakes. It's that one refuses to let mistakes become a permanent stop. The rewards of discipline are not just external achievements, they're internal transformations. Discipline builds patience because you learn to wait for results while continuing to work. It builds resilience because you push through discomfort instead of running from it. It builds confidence because you have proof through your own actions that you are capable of following through. Over time, discipline creates freedom. It frees you from the control of moods, habits, and circumstances. It allows you to design your life instead of living at the mercy of impulses. With discipline, you can trust that the work will be done, that progress will be made, and that you will become the kind of person who doesn't just start things but finishes them. In the end, discipline is the difference between wishing for a better life and building one. It's the bridge between intention and accomplishment, between a plan and a result. When you master discipline, you master the ability to shape your future, because you're no longer relying on chance or fleeting bursts of motivation. You're relying on a steady, unshakable commitment to your own growth and success. Relationships are one of the greatest sources of strength, joy, and meaning in life, but they require intentional effort to grow and sustain. The people you surround yourself with have a powerful influence on your thoughts, habits, and even your future. You cannot expect to thrive in life if you are constantly connected to those who pull you down, drain your energy, or discourage your ambitions. In the same way, you cannot expect strong, meaningful bonds if you neglect the people who matter most. Building and maintaining relationships is both an art and a responsibility. The first step in investing in relationships is choosing them wisely. Every connection you allow into your life leaves an imprint. Spend time with those who challenge you to grow, encourage your goals, and share your values. These are the people who will remind you of who you are when you forget and push you to keep going when you feel like stopping. It's not about finding perfect people, they don't exist, but about finding people whose presence strengthens you. Once you have the right people in your life, you must nurture those bonds. Relationships fade when taken for granted. It's not enough to simply like or care about someone, you have to show it. This can be as simple as sending a message to check in, expressing appreciation, or making time to share an experience. Small acts of thoughtfulness build trust and closeness over time. Words matter, but consistent actions matter more. Listening is one of the most powerful ways to invest in others. Many people hear, but few truly listen. Real listening means putting aside your own thoughts for a moment and focusing completely on the other person's words, tone, and emotions. It means being present without rushing to give advice or turn the conversation back to yourself. When you listen deeply, you send a message. You matter. Your thoughts matter. Your feelings matter. That kind of attention is rare, and it's one of the fastest ways to deepen a connection. Healthy relationships also require giving without expecting something in return. Contribution is a vital part of human connection. When you help someone, not because you want recognition or repayment, but because you genuinely care, you strengthen the bond in ways that cannot be measured. This might mean offering support during a difficult time, sharing your knowledge, or simply showing up when you're needed most. The impact of genuine giving often comes back to you in ways you never expected. At the same time, relationships are a two-way street. You cannot carry all the weight alone, and you shouldn't have to. Mutual respect and effort are essential. If you find yourself constantly giving while the other person only takes, you must set boundaries. Boundaries are not walls. They are lines that protect your well-being and ensure the relationship remains balanced. Without them, resentment builds and trust erodes. One of the greatest challenges in relationships is dealing with conflict. Disagreements are inevitable because no two people see the world exactly the same way. What matters is not avoiding conflict entirely, but handling it with maturity. That means speaking with honesty, but also with kindness, listening to understand the other person's perspective, and seeking solutions rather than victories. When handled well, conflict can actually strengthen a relationship because it proves that the bond can survive challenges. Relationships also thrive on shared experiences. Time together builds memories, and memories create a sense of belonging. Whether it's celebrating milestones, working on a project, traveling, or even facing hardships together, these shared moments weave a deeper connection. In the end, it's not the number of hours you spend with someone that matters, it's the quality of those hours. Another important aspect of strong relationships is appreciation. Over time, it's easy to take people for granted, especially those who are always there for you. But appreciation is like oxygen for relationships. It keeps them alive. Express gratitude often, not just for big gestures, but for the everyday ways someone adds value to your life. A simple thank you or I appreciate you can mean more than you realize. Finally, understand that relationships require constant effort. You can't expect them to stay strong if you only pay attention when it's convenient. Just as a plant needs water, sunlight, and care to grow, relationships need communication, trust, and time. Neglect them, and they will wither. Nurture them, and they will become one of your greatest sources of strength and happiness. Life is too short to fill it with shallow or toxic connections. Choose relationships that inspire you, invest in them with sincerity, and be the kind of person others are grateful to know. In the end, the success of your life will not be measured only by what you achieve, but by the quality of the relationships you build along the way and the difference you make in the lives of those you care about.